Okay. Hey there, hi there, ho there. This is RHJunior, RHJunior Reality Check, coming to you live over the internet through a series of tube zones, the boob tube we call YouTube, bringing you another broadcast of my contribution to the debris littering the sides of the information highway. A little something. You and I all know it. Spleen squeezins. Oh yeah. Oh, two. I'm trying the new settings. I figured out some of the settings on Plane 9, the background animation thingy. I've reduced them dramatically in the hopes of making for a smoother animation. I may reduce them further. In fact, they're still looking a little clunky. In fact, I think I will. Plane 9 windowed. Here, just give me a second. I'm messing with settings in the middle of the show. You mad beast, you. Let's see here. Paint 3D, people, photos, Plane 9. Here we go. Configure Plane 9. Check the options. I'm going to set it all the way down to 25%. I'm going to turn that off. And then I'm going to turn it back on. I really have no idea why. I have no idea why it works this way. It requires me to... YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. What? Same old song, same old story, same old song and dance. I have no idea what this computer is doing. Well, I managed to spend 2 whole days. Let's see, I spent Sunday and I spent Monday not doing diddly squat. And I spent today not doing diddly squat. I've typed a couple of lines, but I haven't managed to do any actual drawing. And I feel beat half to death. Is what I wake up, I feel like I ought to feel when I'm going to bed. Getting ready to go to bed. That's what I feel like. Probably should have bought more something to drink, guys. More beverages. That's what I need. More Kool-Aid by the gallon. Okay, we got an audience of 1. Freak uni. You weirdo! What are you doing here? I don't know. Let's see here. I just don't know what to think. I just don't know what. I have. There's a channel I usually. What's the name of it? IMGUR. They usually have clever little pictures, and it's a picture board basically. IMGUR, and it is so political, and I swear to God. It's like every inbred leftist on the planet has decided to take up shop there. Any remotely political commentary is, oh, Trump evil, Orange Man bad. And broadcasting that kid. Okay, what was his name? Rittenhouse? Some poor bastard of a kid. Okay, here's the story. Here's the breakdown. Some kid, he lives a couple miles over from like Portland, or wherever this took place. Lives a couple of miles over from one of the places that's being ripped apart by leftists right now. Just being set on fire and crap. vandalized and all this other. And he gets this in his head. He's like 15, 16 years old. He's going to go over there. I don't know why he decided to do this. But I'm guessing there was some sort of, come out and support the community kind of thing. He went out there. He was going to help clean up graffiti, in some of the quieter areas, to show his, support for civic responsibility kind of thing. And he goes out there and he's carrying an AR-15. Now, you know what an AR-15 is, and I've got a general idea because I've seen pictures of him carrying it. It's basically a semi-automatic. It's legal, though. I hate to break it to you all, but he was carrying a legal firearm strapped to his back for protection. Duh. Because he was walking into a city, no matter no matter if he was with anybody else, he was going into an area where, all the progressives of our area are out there showing their enlightenment by attacking anybody wearing a red MAGA hat and trying to set them on fire. Anyway, he goes out there, and sure enough, he gets jumped. They've got it on footage. These bastards that attacked him, the ones that are still alive, are screwed. They are screwed, blued, and tattooed because every last second of this is on video and caught from several different angles to boot. Because every dumb cluck out there, let's film the hat, the red hat guy getting his ass kicked. It'll be funny on Facebook. And they managed to convict one of their fellow compatriots instead. Anyway, he goes out there. They jump him. They knock him to the ground. They literally try to kill him. One of them throws a Molotov cocktail at him. Now, I hate to break it to you, but throwing a glass bottle full of gasoline at somebody is attempted murder. Only by the grace of God was the guy too dumb to light the fuse first. Another guy pulled a skateboard and tried to split his skull open. Got a few licks in, and a third guy came sidling up, pulled a pistol, and pointed it at the kid's head. The kid limbered his gun up and plugged them all. Last I heard is one shot per person, no less. 3 of them dead. One of them got a hole blasted out of he was you can see him in the video still staggering around trying to hold on to the gun with one hand and his bleeding. It looked like a big old shark bite was taken out of his arm, literally. Just blew a chunk out of his arm. And everybody, justice for him, justice, and the usual weeping shitbags are out there talking about what a brutal animal he is, what a brutal animal this boy was. Well, the kid shot them. He took out his attackers. Then he promptly went over, hands raised, slung his gun, raised his hands and went, and went straight for the cops. He tried to go, when the people first confronted him, he tried to head for the cops. He just trotted on over in their direction, and they cut him off. He did everything in his power to avoid a confrontation. They wanted to kill him. They pulled a gun on him. They threw a can of gasoline at him. They tried to crack open his skull. These kids were, and it turns out one of them was a convicted pedophile with a restraining order that he wasn't supposed to go near anybody who was below the age of 18. The high standards we've come to expect from the left. And they're coming out. They're doing everything in their power. The press is doing everything in their power to find some dirt on this kid. They tried to claim that he's on record as having attacked a young woman, and I've seen the video of that too. That was from some party someplace. He intervened in some sort of fight, and he didn't raise his hands to the girl for that matter. But that's the gossip they're trying to start. They're trying to smear him. You remember the kid with the hat? He goes to Washington D.C. for a pro-life rally. Somebody's selling red MAGA hats. He's, oh sure, he buys a red MAGA hat, and immediately some bumblefuck who's been spending the last 30 years on government handouts and standing in front of the White House beating a tom-tom, trying to claim he's a Native American who's been disenfranchised, starts harassing the kid. And because the kid just stood there and took it, the press, oh, look at that smug look on his face. Don't you just want to smack him? And basically, he went out, he sued the son of a gun. He sued CNN and won. Their suffering brings me great pleasure. You got a bunch of people who aren't worth the shovel it would take to bury them. Man alive, it just last dang nerve, and doggone if these people ain't getting all over it just by existing. And of course every bumble twit on the internet is out there. Justice for Juicy, They're coming out now. They're admitting it. They've been doing research. These social justice warriors. These virtue signalers. They're admitting that the more virtue signaling that somebody does, the more likely they are to be a sociopath or a psychopath. And that's a clinical analysis. Sweet merciful crap. Well, the scanner. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about this. They gave me this thing, as it's all sorts of widgets that I'm supposed to fiddle with. It's supposed to make the feed better. Well, it's just, apparently this is not going to work. Plane 9 is not going to work with my program. Nice, it's not going to play nice with my program. So. Heck with it. Okay, is anybody out there? Are you still out there? Are you still there? Because shoot, I gotta get something to drink. I suppose I've already drunk my one can of Monster for the afternoon, so this is just another "I'm still alive, yes, don't abandon me yet" kind of things. Stupid broadcast thing, it's not working right. They can only talk, the leftists can only talk about two kinds of cops. The bad eggs and the cops who allegedly got fired for squealing on the bad eggs. The other 99.9% of cops who go out there every day and put their lives on the line trying to keep the peace. They don't exist. If a cop's doing his job, you generally don't know he's there. More or less speaking. I'm sorry. I mean, even it used to be, even on TV, they admitted the cops had it rough. There's one, I remember one skit. There's one cop show, one TV cop show where the cops were getting. One cop was being accused of all sorts of terrible things, and people were out there protesting him every time he tried to go to work. And he come out there and he just finally threw a fit at it. He tore his shirt open and showed them his bulletproof vest. How many of you assholes have to wear one of these to work? Big old can of shut the hell up right there. I don't even know if you can hear me at all right now. Damn thing isn't. The damn thing is buffering like there's no tomorrow. This is really starting to aggravate me. I hate YouTube. Ever since Zuckerberg got his tentacles and everything, nobody. Look, I had some guy on, another yuppie class socialist. You know who they are. High school to college age. Don't have a job, living in a upper middle class home. Their biggest concern is what kind of car daddy's going to get them for their graduation present. Talking about the injustice of the capitalist bourgeoisie, I swear to God, if I could catch some of the teachers that are handing out that socialist crap, I'd force feed them their own copy of Marx. Rectally. That 19th century couch surfer has ruined more lives. Anyway. He's talking about, how Mark Zuckerberg is a perfect example of capitalism run amok. No. I'm tired. I feel like I'm going to have to explain this again. As if to a little child who's angry that they didn't get a cookie. No. That is not capitalism. Capitalism is voluntary exchange between free operators, fully informed, uncoerced free operators, if I have to explain that to you. Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook did what they did and do what they do by falsely portraying themselves as trustworthy. They conned people into turning over their personal data and then gave it away. They betrayed the trust of the people. That's called fraud. It's called deceit. It is not capitalism. It is the same as if he had taken a gun and taken it by force. Morally and ethically speaking. Legally, he's diving through loopholes like Bingo the Seal at a SeaWorld show. But that's not capitalism's fault. In a truly capitalist society, there would only be one color, the color of your money. There would be no coercion, no deceit. Coercion and deceit would be utterly unacceptable in any form. We're not seeing capitalism here. We're seeing cronyism. We're seeing people exploiting a broken system. Half the reason that the system is broken is because you had so many politicians and legislators and activists going up there, didn't know their ass from their face when it came to writing law, and started writing all these laws to try and make things not just, but fair. There's a difference between just and fair. Fair means pleasing. That's what a little child means. No fair, no fair, no fair, no fair. Because it's perfectly fair. It's perfectly balanced, just, fair, whatever you want to call it. They just don't like the outcome. A just system is anything but pretty. And that's what they don't like about it. No, I have not seen the SpongeBob anime. I've seen bits and pieces of drawings and such, screen captures, and I'm not interested. I wasn't interested in SpongeBob SquarePants when he was brand new and shiny, okay? I was sick of him. I was sick of his tired, porous, spongy butt decades ago. I'm just sick of him, okay? I don't care about SpongeBob SquarePants. I did not go to college and smoke my way through my classes. So SpongeBob is not a big influence in my life. All right. And I wasn't 5 years old when he first appeared on screen. So, no. I thought he was stupid I thought the whole cartoon was stupid the first time I saw it. I thought it was ugly. I thought it was unattractive. I thought it was, bottom of the barrel writing. I thought it was somebody doing the absolute bare minimum to make a buck. Just like I think with Ren and Stimpy and all the other ugly ass, unattractive, unpleasant cartoons that they're cranking out by the thousands. Now that one or two substandard animators prove that they can get away with anything, and a corporate executive will greenlight it. Just get it out of my face. I do not want to hear you. Oh well, the third season wasn't nearly as good as the first. Get out of my face. Why can't stoners just go, just smoke a bong or eat their brownies and leave our culture the hell alone? I don't want to sit and listen to somebody talking about what artistic genius went into a stoner movie. Get out of here. It's staggeringly brilliant when you've turned off half the connections in your brain. Give me a break. I used to watch that sock puppet show on MTV all the time, Syphil and Ollie. Why? Because it was on at 3 in the morning and I was wide awake. Everything's hilarious when you've been up that long. Recently, a while later, after it'd gone off the air, I found a couple of episodes online, and I watched them. And I thought, this isn't all that funny. This isn't all that. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. It's a lot more hilarious when you're, riding a sleep deprivation high. I can only imagine what, hitting a bong or a spliff would do for you. I don't want to hear about The Simpsons either. I sure as hell don't want to hear about American Dad or Family. What is it? What is it? Family Values. Family Guy. That's the name. I don't want to hear about Ted. That's stupid, disgusting movie. I've seen clips of it. I'm like, it's nasty. The guy that makes those shows, He should have been voted off the island years ago. He's just a nasty man who makes nasty movies, and his just he's a shock jock, way past his prime. No, I want nothing to do with them. I don't want to talk about them. I don't want to think about them. I have seen, I have seen parody works and satire and things that were brilliant stuff. Hysterically funny. These guys ain't it. What's the name of the guy that does Family Guy? Is Steve Griffin, something like that? He has one thing. He's just, I've seen bits and pieces of his work, and I've come to the conclusion he takes something that should have been nothing but a 5-minute skit on Saturday Night Live, at most, and stretches it out into an entire episode or an entire TV episode or an entire series. Or in the case of Ted, the living teddy bear, two movies. Two movies that could have been summed up with a 30-second spot on Robot Chicken. Get the hell out. Oh my lord! I've seen some of SpongeBob's. I was up all hours of the night when I was in the hospital and in the arbors and in the care center. Healing up from everything. And oh man, late at night, man, just what the hell? 12-ounce mouse. It's obvious. Some guy doodling on his laptop fell ass backwards into a movie deal with somebody who's functionally retarded. Got himself a TV show deal, and I mean, my God, it's horrifying that it exists. I've seen some brilliant animation. I've seen some clever shows that are on TV right now. Disney seems to be, sad to say, Disney seems to be the last bastion of any sort of quality standards. But there are a few. Let's see. And that's not saying much because of what Disney's been up to. But there's Craig of the Creek. Craig of the Creek. It's brilliantly. It's basically what I've been thinking for ages. Ever since I saw it, I've been thinking this is what Kids Next Door would be if Kids Next Door didn't suck. Now, I've got a serious axe to grind with the old Kid Next Door show. I got a problem with any show that portrays being, growing up and being a teenager or an adult as becoming a villain. Okay, first off. And the whole kids are smarter than grown-ups thing just sort of chafes my butt, too. It's Kids Next Door is just, just, no. Take it away. Now, Craig of the Creek, the old idea is that this little kid and his friend and his two friends, whenever they get home from school or when they're off for the summer, they go down to the creek that runs through the back of their property, and they have adventures, typical kid adventures, but they're couched in, sort of pseudo fantasy adventure. You have to watch it. It's pretty interesting. They have a whole episode where they discover an area. Craig is famous among the kids on the creek because he's drawn a whole map of the area that the creek runs through, and he finds one area on the map that's nothing but poison ivy. And there have been things, and something weird's been going on in that area. So they make some. They literally make some biohazard suits out of garbage bags and stuff. It's the Little Rascals with a touch more panache. And they make biohazard suits, and they go out there and they find out that in the middle of this huge field of poison ivy is a trampoline. And there's this one boy out there. It turns out that he's got like 3 sisters at home. And the only way he can get any time to himself is to run out to the creek. And the thing of it is that he has a superpower. He's immune to poison ivy. So he runs around in that poison ivy field and plays on the trampoline whenever he wants some time alone. And so Craig, puts marks out any evidence on the map. Just puts, poison ivy field, danger, and keeps the kids secret. And it's really cute. And the parents are actually, the parents are actually smart. They are, and they help the kids when they need it. And it's a well done show. Another show that I got addicted to rather quickly, but only saw a couple of episodes. Darn it, The Owl House. About this girl, her mother's trying to get her. We're trying to help you fit in and grow up, and she tries to send the girl off to summer camp, but the girl gets waylaid. Her backpack gets stolen while she's waiting for the bus. Her backpack gets stolen by an owl. She chases the owl to an abandoned house and through a magic mirror, and she ends up in, the magical world. It turns out the owl is actually belongs to a witch. The witch makes her living by selling knickknacks from the human world as highly expensive novelties in the magical world. And the girl, being she's a big fantasy junkie, and big opportunity, and she jumps at the chance and convinces the witch to make her apprentice. And the thing of it is that the witch is actually the local con artist. And she's even got a wanted poster of her for several millions of quatlus or wherever the local money is. And that's the whole story. That's the start of the whole story. And I only saw 3 or 4 episodes, and it was really fascinating to see where they were going with the idea. Another one was Amphibia. Now, Amphibia is about a little girl. A girl, she's got 2 friends, and you can tell, in flashbacks, and you can tell right from the start that these friends are a bad influence because they talk her into shoplifting at some knickknack store. She steals a jewelry box, which turns out to be magical, and sucks her through to another world. Surprise. And it turns out to be a world inhabited by talking frogs. And she makes friends with a couple of the natives and moves in with them, and while they try to figure out, where she came from, how she got here, and how to get her home. It also turns out in later episodes that her 2 friends got sucked through too. They landed in different locations. And the thing of it is that one of the other girls is a real world-class sociopathic manipulator. And in no time flat, despite starting out in a dungeon of some evil overlord, soon has the evil overlord wrapped around her finger. And it was very interesting to see where that was going to go. So, there are good shows out there. Well, of course, most of these have some sort of hint of fantasy flavoring to them, so, I'm biased towards them. There was also there was also one that was about basically about a hillbilly family moving in. They inherited a chunk of land, moved into the city, and they've built their own organic farm. Their own farmstead in the middle of the city. And it is an updated Beverly Hillbillies concept without the mansion. And it turns out that they're doing well because organic farming is all the thing. Yeah. Okay, you're going to have to excuse me for a minute. I've got to get something to drink. Just a second. I'm back. Now, I've seen a couple of episodes of it. I think what you're seeing is they're trying to. Yeah, the protagonist is supposed to be bisexual. Yeah. What you mean is that somebody has wanted to imply that the female protagonist is bi, and if she has a friend, oh, they're sitting together on the bench, they must be lesbians. I'll have to watch more of the show before I jump to the verdict, okay? Gets on my damn nerves. You see what I like to do here when I mix up a drink? Mix up a drink. I'm sure you're picturing me all whipping up a cocktail here, but what I do is that I got a pack of Monster Energy drink, a big you know, big multi-can box of it. What I do is I like what I like. What I really like is to take like a glass of a bottle of orange juice, one of those one serving sizes, and some Monster Energy drink, the green stuff. Mix it together. Right now I don't have any orange juice, so I'm using Tang. Not as good, but still good. Gives me something to drink, gives me something cool and wet. Gives me something a little bit fizzy, with a lot of vitamins in it. And not nearly as much caffeine in one go, you know. Well, diluted anyway. I am going to finish the can. Fat lot of good it does them, doesn't it? Look at J.K. Rowling. The deviant crowd started rattling her cage. He says, "Oh, yeah, Dumbledore's gay. Yeah, Dumbledore's gay." And I'm sure that, there are a lot of bi characters. She even tried to, and all of a sudden, several of the characters in the movie suddenly turned black and female. And then on the play, Hermione turns black. I'm like, you pandering wuss, and it didn't do her any good because now they're accusing her of being LGBTQ, transphobic and this phobic and that phobic, and they're throwing a tantrum. Why? Because she gave them what they wanted. They threw a tantrum. She gave them what they wanted, and now they see that they can get whatever they want out of her, and she's going to spend the rest of her life jumping through hoops like a seal at SeaWorld, trying to please people who are determined to never ever be pleased. It's like, just get the heck out of here. What happened was basically a bunch of angry lesbians got into the animation industry, started greasing the skids to get their friends in, and now most of the major animation studios, their shows have been either started or taken over by a bunch of people with homosexual deviant leanings. And if they can't get it in there openly, they'll imply it in every possible way they can. And here I'm writing fan fiction of other people's writing. And I even imply that that one of the characters in question isn't gay, or is just not interested in sex at all. And how much bile does it take to do something like that? I swear to. Oh, many of these women are bigoted as the day is long, sexist as the day is long. The only men, there's one lady who was in charge of Steven Universe. She basically quoted him out and said, the only women she wanted, you either had to be gay, you had to be gay, bisexual, or lesbian to work for her. Look, it's bullcrap. I have a better claim to uh, I myself have a better claim to being disenfranchised than the entire lot of these uh, uh, victim class mentality crybabies combined. You don't think so? Not because I'm a Christian, not because I'm a white guy, and a white guy, a straight white guy is a walking bullseye in his own neighborhood these days. I'm left-handed, and I'm sure you're going, what? Oh, I'm left-handed. It wasn't that long ago that left-handedness was considered a sign of rebelliousness. Left-handed people were regarded as being clumsy, mentally inferior. This was back in the 50s. Clumsy, mentally inferior. Left-handed children were punished for not writing properly, quote unquote. And it was in a few centuries back, being left-handed was considered a sign of witchcraft. And it goes beyond that. Consider that left-handed people make up approximately 15% of the population in general. That's a larger percentage than black people in America, than any of the other groups that are agitating out there right now. Almost nothing except for a few handfuls of novelty products are made for left-handed people. And that includes everything from spiral notebooks to power tools. Now, you want to know how bad that is? Imagine having, pretend, if you're right-handed, pretend that your right hand is suddenly paralyzed and you have to do everything with your left hand. How long would you be able to work in your own kitchen before you had an accident? Left-handed people, they are 78%, I believe the number was 78% more likely to have a workplace accident, and a severe one, because of that. If engineering and design companies concentrated on making products genuinely ambidextrous to be used by both left-handed and right-handed people with equal facility, they would save we would save billions of dollars a year in injuries, lost productivity, so on and so forth. They're talking about making the Little Mermaid black. Yeah, I've heard about that. Some people are just too stupid to live. Probably shouldn't have drunk that second can of Monster. This is my second can this afternoon. They have big cans, so getting a little buzzed, and not in a good way. Caffeine doesn't do anything, doesn't really pep me up anymore. It just gives me the jitters. I'm staying away from these I got some chicken fries from Burger King, and I'll say it's too spicy. I think they may have dipped them in the same as the spicy fries. Burning my palate. You take any corporation, any company that grows up into a corporation, it develops a parasitic organism running right through the middle of it called the people, the corporate people. Corporate people, they're utterly divorced from the actual purpose of the company. They don't understand the customers. They don't understand the product they're making. They don't understand creative people, and they don't want to. They react with hostility towards being asked to, because they are generally of lower intelligence, and things like understanding and empathy are beyond them. Now, I'm not just snarking here. I'm talking, this is, people are just taking the whole corporate model apart and talk to these people and talk to the types of people who do become successful in a corporate network. And this was their evaluation. These people are borderline, many people, corporate-minded people are borderline sociopathic. But moving on, you get somebody, you get something like, like a movie company, and they start making great movies. They start making, getting big success, and then they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and the bureaucracy grows up. And then you get a lot of people that move in, and they start filling up the central core, the spine of the organization, with people who don't know movies, but they know corporate speak. And they're the ones that fill up these endless meetings with think outside the box, blah 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 blah, etc. 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 Paradigm, blah 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 blah. And they self-promote. They're incestuous to no end. You hear about them. They constantly promote each other into positions of authority and power. One of the first things they say about somebody that they approve of is that he's got that corporate presence. They'll promote a guy to be in charge of something he knows absolutely nothing about, but he has a corporate presence. Because as far as they're concerned, the only thing that you really, everybody else is imaginary. The only real people are the corporate ones, and they're the only ones they think they have to worry about. And as long as they are all under the delusion that there is a single playbook of corporate techniques that will work with every company, regardless of what they're making or doing. They couldn't be more wrong, but that doesn't stop them. And if the ship starts sinking, hey, there's always another corporation for them to jump aboard, because they've got friends in other companies. They'll jump off the deck of the sinking ship and step onto a new one, shaking hands all the way without a pause. Meanwhile, the company behind them is boom, going up like going up like the Hindenburg and sinking like the Titanic, And they're convinced that it is them that is making a company successful. That's the hilarious part. But this time around, it's bitten them in the ass. You see, all this sudden upswelling of social justice warriors and special snowflakes and virtue signaling and victim signaling that has been going on on the corporate level. The corporate monkeys got tricked into believing that this was the new wave in corporate speak. And it's going over like a lead balloon. There's a reason, the newest saying running around is "Get woke, go broke." And companies have begun passing warnings. Upper management has begun passing warnings, over their martini lunches that you don't want to hire this guy. He's so woke it's sick. And warning each other off of hiring these social activists. Because all they can, they can't do a good job. All they can do is be the only thing they can do well is be offended at everything. Don't worry, I'll be out of cans of Monsters soon enough. I'm trying to keep myself down to like 2 cans a day at most. But it goes fast enough. Someday somebody's going to invent an actual genuine energy drink, one that actually peps you up and nourishes you and fills you with genuine energy instead of just making you jittery. And epic paradigm shift. Oh yeah, they're trying to claim that it's not us that's burning down the neighborhoods. Oh, fuck off. Pardon my language, but I've reached a point where I don't care anymore. I'm just a corrupted old man. These people are unbelievable. Like I said, sociopaths. They can tell a lie to anyone, even themselves, and believe it. I said it, therefore it must be true. That kind of thing. Trying to be and claim they're infiltrated. They're being infiltrated. They're being supported by leftists. Like that one guy. What's his name? I forget. I don't care. This isn't going to stop. This isn't going to stop until the police and the military come down and things go Kent State. The people throwing the riots have made it clear they're willing to kill. And that's what it's going to happen. And that's what it's going to come to by their hand. And then they're going to spend the next 50 years whining and crying about, oh, the Portland 17. Oh, they were gunned down so young and so innocent. They could be caught cannibalizing a 6-year-old. Oh, they were so young and innocent. There are fuckwits out there who still think Charles Manson was railroaded. Give me a break, Pardon my language again. I've gotten bad about that. I've gotten sloppy about my language, letting any words slip out of my mouth. Just after this, it is September in 2020, and I've about had my limit of this year. Started the year with a country on the opposite side of the planet catching on fire, and it hasn't let up since. I'm old. I'm tired, and even as I'm trying to apply for help, I'm starting to wonder if the help's going to come. I've still got that GoFundMe for my roof going. Nobody's dropped anything in it in a couple of months, but I feel bad about talking about it. I feel guilty trying to promote it because I spent too much of my life begging for help and begging for money, and it's not a good day. It's not been a good couple of days. It's just tired all the time. My lie down. My back hurts. I get up, I lie down. I'm tired. I lie down. I get up. I'm still tired, and my back hurts. It's just rough. Back hurts and my legs hurt. My knees hurt. I roll around and get all twisted up and put strain on everything. My bed isn't comfortable. My work chair isn't comfortable. My recliner I can't even sit in. This is probably why my health is so bad. I'm just never able to sit down and rest. Feel completely comfortable. Even in the hospital, even when in the bed wasn't exactly comfortable. For a while they had me in one of those inflatable beds, and then they moved me into a new room, and it was one of the older beds, and I was constantly trying to keep from having my butt resting on that rail in the middle of it, where it folded. Just but I was still way more comfortable there. I didn't wake up with my joints hurting. I've got to get this old bed out of here, get this new bed assembled, and try and make it amenable. But everything I was hoping to have done by now, something has come up, and bureaucracy, 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 government paperwork, paperwork. Running in a circle. We'll check on this. We'll check. We'll check. We'll check. Don't worry. We'll check. We'll check. We'll check. Great. You checked on it. Now is it coming? No. No. Of course not. But we'll check again. This is and people want this system running everything. They want it running they want it running our health care. They want it running our food. They want it running everything. And you can't handle what little it already does. Okay, okay. I missed what you're saying. The above is just pure beauty. What were you saying? The above what? I missed something. I missed everything. I don't know. I don't know what nobody's talking about no more. I'm old. Get off my lawn. No, actually, get back on my lawn and mow it. Mow my lawn. I'm about to reach the point where I don't give a damn anymore. I just let them. I haven't heard from the Social Security guy in months. Gonna have to dust off and dig up the paper. There's paper all over the place in this desk. Paper all over the place in this house. Is one match away from a dumpster fire. Just tear it all out and throw it away again. This is how I'm going to die. The wires in my house are going to short out or something, and my whole place is going to burn down. They're going to find my fat ass roasted on top of a pile of trash bags. Yeah, the big problem with Zuckerberg and Facebook and all the other tentacles he's got out there. He's trying to have it both ways. He wants the control and power of being a content provider, aka I can control everything posted here and do whatever I want with it, like he's running a TV station or a movie company, while having the legal protections of being a free speech platform. I'm not responsible for what anybody posts here. He wants it both ways. And quite frankly, unless he's willing to pay the people who post on Facebook for their content, and that includes their information, the artwork and the writing and everything else they post on here, then he has no leg to stand on morally or ethically, unless he's willing to give everybody the protection of free speech, regardless of which politically sensitive group approves or not. Then he can't have it the other way either. Caffeine, a shot of Monster, doesn't energize me anymore. It doesn't, just it gives me a quick buzz, and then I feel tired and jittery. There's nothing worse than feeling tired and jittery at the same time. Because you feel like you ought to be able to get everything in the house done, but you can't even get yourself up out of your chair. What a life. Chocolate milk would probably be a better approach. Of course, chocolate milk could glug me down too. I'm tired of being tired. I'm always tired. I'm always aching. I don't have any energetic moments. I don't have any time when I'm full of energy and excitement, and I just go from from different kinds of tired. One of these days, I think the only reason that the only time I've gotten any really good sleep is when I'm at the hospital. What does that tell you? I wouldn't even make a you want to be cared for. I wouldn't even make a good goldfish. Um, I woke up at noon. You understand what I'm saying? Noon. And I already feel like I've run a 100-yard dash and a marathon. My neck hurts, my back hurts, my knees hurt, and despite having a fairly healthy breakfast with I just had fresh fruit, had banana, and had cereal too. Special K with like berries and fruit stuff. I, I just, I feel bogged down. Right now, what I want to do right now is climb back into that adjustomatic bed back in my old hospital room, elevate my feet, and just not move for like a day. Nothing is comfortable. I don't know if I'm coming. Am I broadcasting? Well, according to this, I have an excellent connection. Therefore, I'm broadcasting. She doesn't understand that rock and roll music. What is DVR? It says, I see the switch here that says enable DVR. I also see enable 360 video. I have no idea what 360 degree video is. These things tell me nothing. German parliament stormed by radical protesters. Oh, well, whoop-de-doo. Here we go again. Trying to get back to my widgets, my dashboard. Checking my, spend more time reading my email than doing anything with it. Let's see. Sorry, I'm running out of steam fast. I'm running out of steam fast. Now, I find it interesting. I spent a lot of time. Anytime one of the nurses would visit me in my room, you know, the nurses and orderlies and stuff, checking my blood pressure and all that other stuff, and bringing my lunch, and if I, or mopping the floor. Anybody who came in here, I'd talk their ear off. I'd end up having to apologize because I'd have them standing there listening to me. I don't know if I was that interesting or they were that patient. I have no way to tell. But I find it interesting. You find it very interesting trying to explain your favorite animated series to somebody who's never seen it. I was surprised at how few people have seen My Hero Academia. How few. And these ladies, they had, most of them had kids or teenage kids or grandkids. Like, you've never seen this? And I'm like, yeah. And I'd have to describe it, try to explain it. I'm surprised I never had, one of the more, I think one of the more interesting ones to describe would be like the Seven Deadly Sins. The Seven Deadly Sins was an anime series that they showed on Netflix. Don't know if they still have it there. But the Seven Deadly Sins, the idea was it was fantasy. The Seven Deadly Sins were 7 heroes, 7 warriors. Each of them was, they were convicted criminals. They had been accused of each of them had been accused of a different terrible crime that they had supposedly committed, different for each one. And they had chosen to become protectors of the kingdom, to pay their debt to society, and also to restore their honor, that sort of thing. And each of them was named for the sin, the seven deadly sins that their crime most represented. And it turns out, you see in various episodes, that through the flashbacks, that these convicted criminals, quote unquote, they weren't really responsible for what happened. It was usually something that was completely out of their control, or circumstances had turned against them, and they were falsely accused, and they had no way to prove it, or they just took the blame because they felt guilty for what had happened, even though they couldn't have done anything about it. The sloth sin is actually a king. He's the king of the fair folk. He's the king of the fairy people in that land. And it turns out that they were invaded by a human army of bandits. And the bandit cornered, the lead bandit cornered him, knocked him out, and dropped him in a river. And he was fished out of the river by a young girl who nursed him back to health. And he had been left with amnesia. He had no idea who he was, where he was, what he was doing. And when he finally figured it out, he raced back to his kingdom, but it was already years too late. The villain in question, they had invaded the land, conquered it, burned it down. And the real reason they had done it is because fairy wings were apparently incredibly valuable for some reason. So they captured all the people and ripped the wing, everyone they could capture. They ripped the wings out of their backs. And so but everybody believed that the prince, that the king had abandoned them, and they ran him off when he tried to return. And he goes to the human kingdom as a prisoner, and becomes one of the seven deadly sins. To try and win back his honor, to try and somehow find a way to restore his honor and all that. And he became known as the sloth sin, because he had literally slept through his kingdom's conquest. And then there's the sin of pride, the lion sin. The funny thing is the lion sin is normally a short, small, meek, bespectacled, skinny little guy with a handlebar mustache at night. But once the sun rises, he starts getting stronger and stronger until he is literally, even early in the morning, he's an absolute beast. But by noon, he is literally the strongest member of the seven deadly sins. These are heroes who can level castles single-handedly. Anime level of mass destruction. Anyway, when he was a little boy, he had a brother. He had been, nobility, and his brother. He and his brother bullied him a lot, apparently, and because he was the weakling of the two. And then one day he started to mature and discovered that as long as he was standing in the sun, he was stronger. And he accidentally horribly injured his brother and got banished. But the damage he caused and the injury he caused, he scared the crap out of everybody in the castle, and they banished him. The bigger and stronger he gets, the more arrogant he also gets. Although, of course, when he says he's going, which it's hardly arrogance because he is literally undefeatable at the peak of his power. When they introduce it, the episode they introduce him in is absolutely hilarious because he's been living. The seven deadly sins were betrayed. They were falsely accused of assassinating the king, and they had to scatter across the world. And when they reintroduced the lion sin, he is living in a cave, which he has carved out and made into basically a little tavern, and he's the barkeep. And he has a huge boulder he rolls in front of the front door before every night. And one night he's shut in, and a couple of villains, incredibly powerful ones, a sorceress and a giant red knight, force their way in and force him to spend the night serving them drinks, and catering to their every need. And then the sun starts coming up, and the only sign that things are starting to go wrong for them is that he walks over to the front door and pushes it aside one-handed. And then he starts getting bigger and bigger. And then he proceeds to thrash the living daylights out of both of them. By that point, he's already bigger. He looks like the Hulk on steroids. If you cross the Hulk and Giant Man and force-fed them steroids the rest of their life, this would be this guy. And the serpent sin is actually a girl. She's a giantess, and hers is the sin of envy. And she's kind of a tsundere. She's obsessed with the leader of the band, the leader of the group, and wants to, she has this unending crush on him, even though he's a normal-sized human. But that isn't why she's the serpent sin. She is the envious sin because she was, again, false. Like many of the others, falsely accused of bringing about the death of the giant people's queen. Well, I don't know if it's the queen or the chieftainess, something like that. They accuse her of, you let it happen because you were jealous of her, kind of thing, and she couldn't provide any proof that it was any other way than that they said. So she ended up in the human lands, and the leader of the deadly sin said, "Fine, we'll take her." And the thing of it is that the interest, they all have tattoos on someplace. Hers is on her hip. The Lion King's is the Lion Sin's is in the middle of his back. She has a serpent tattooed on her hip. He has a lion's head tattooed in between his shoulder blades. The Wrath Sin has a dragon tattooed on his shoulder blade, on his collarbone, and so on and so forth. And their pasts are, surprisingly intertangled too. I've only seen the first season, but it was worth every minute. One of these days I'm going to get Netflix again and watch the second season. Okay. Excuse me. I'm not happy. It is 9 p.m. It's been an hour and a half. I've really got not much to say. I've really run out of things to talk about. I don't really. I'll be honest. For me, going online like this just to talk. It's how I maintain some semblance of sanity. Crud. Excuse me a minute. I think a little water went down the wrong pipe. I don't know. Tired of my life. I really am. Just tired. Tired of the whole mess. Blech. A little cough syrup there. Tired of having random coughing fits. Oh, your lungs sound so clear. Yeah, I can feel it. Blech. Okay, I've just run out of energy for the night. Thank you for all tuning in, and I'll try and have something a little more, a little more tomorrow night. Hopefully, it'll be something other than how much 2020 sucks so far. You take care. Good night.